All right. The court has been informed that the jury has reached a verdict, and we are on the record of the case of People versus Mark Redwine, 17 CR 343. Initially, I want to make a few comments while the jury's on its way up. This has been an extremely difficult case for everybody involved. It's been difficult for the parties, for the attorneys, for their staff. It's been difficult for the families, the entire community. This case has taken a lot of resources from the entire state as well as Atlanta County. The planning to try and get this case to go as well as it did was extensive. I want to thank all the hard work from all the court staff that have worked on this case. Atlanta County, the administration, and their employees have done a tremendous amount of work trying to make sure that everything went off safe and smoothly. I specifically want to thank security personnel for everything that they've done. I've done really complex cases, both as a prosecutor, as defense counsel, and as a judge. I know how much work both sides have done on this case. It's a tremendous amount of effort that the attorneys and their staff have put into it, and I just want to let you know that I appreciate everyone's effort. So with that, we'll just wait for the jury. Thank you. Oh, thank you. The other thing that I wanted to mention before the jury got here is we have talked about how long the process this has been. Emotions are running very high from both sides. However, this is a court of law. I expect everyone in this courtroom to behave appropriately. If anyone behaves inappropriately, they're going to be removed. I have no idea what the verdict's going to be, and I expect everybody to express any emotions they may have after they leave the courthouse. Everybody rise for the jury? All right, we can be seated. Mr. Parker, are you the foreman of the jury? Yes. And I've been informed that the jury has reached a verdict prior to receiving the answer to the question that it sent up? Yes. And is this verdict unanimous? Would you hand the verdict forms to Cindy, please? Mr. Redwine, would you please stand up? Jury verdict count number 1, murder in the second degree. We, the jury, find the defendant, Mark Redwine, guilty of count number 1. Be quiet, please. Murder in the second degree, signed by Mr. Parker. Jury verdict count number 2, child abuse. We, the jury, find the defendant, Mark Redwine, guilty of count 2, child abuse. Signed by Colin Parker. Further, we, the jury, find that with respect to the verdict question as to this count as follows. Did the child abuse result in death? The answer is yes. Signed by Mr. Parker. You can be seated. Does either side wish to have the jury polled? Yes, please. All right. Ms. Fortune, were these your verdicts and answer to the verdict question? Ms. Lopez, were these your verdicts and answer to the verdict question? Mr. Cole, were these your verdicts and answer to the verdict question? Mr. Mooney, were these your verdicts and answer to the verdict question? Ms. Nowak, were these your verdicts and answer to the verdict question? Mr. Streets, were these your verdicts and answer to the verdict question? Mr. Nelson, were these your verdicts and answer to the verdict question? Mr. Walton, were these your verdicts and answer to the verdict question? Mr. Tessler, were these your verdicts and answer to the verdict question? Mr. Boykin, were these your verdicts and answer to the verdict question? Mr. Parker, were these your verdicts and answer to the verdict question? And Ms. Ludwig, were these your verdicts and answer to the verdict question? Ladies and gentlemen, you have now completed your duties as jurors in this case and are discharged with a thank you to the court. The question may arise whether you may now discuss this case with lawyers, defendant, or other persons. For your guidance, I'm instructing you that whether you talk to anyone or not is entirely your decision. It is proper for others to discuss this case with you, and you may talk to them, but you do not need to do so. If you talk to them, you may tell them as much or as little as you want about your deliberations and facts that influence your decision. If any person persists in discussing this case over your objection or becomes critical of your jury service, either before or after any discussion has begun, please report it to me. If you have any questions that I can answer, just wait for me in the jury room. There's a few things that I need to do prior to coming down there. It shouldn't take very long. I know it's also been a long time for you guys. If you want to take off, you're certainly free to do that. But I really appreciate all the work you've done into it. It's been a tough case. I know it's been a tough case on you guys as well as everybody else. And I just want to thank you on behalf of the state of Colorado for all the work that you've done. Everybody rise for the jury, and you go down to the jury room. Everybody be seated. Mr. Champagne, are you anticipating a full day or close to a day for sentencing?
Yes, Judge.
All right. Just a second. Initially, I'm going, Mr. Redwine no longer has a right to bond. He will be held without bond in any sentencing. I want to set sentencing out into September. I have Thursday, September 23rd, or Friday, September 24th available. Either of those days work for counsel. All right.
Your Honor, one of our team members is going to be in a 2-week trial. Is it possible to go out to the next week?
Yes, I could do either Thursday or Friday the next week also, 30th or October 1st.
We have a conflict on the 1st. I'm sorry, Judge. Is it possible to do the 30th?
Does that work for you, Mr. Bogan? All right. Well, let me look for some different dates then. How about Friday, October 8th?
Yes, Judge. That works for us.
All right. We'll set that for 9 a.m. And with that, we'll be in recess. Thank you all very much. Thank you.